we're funny. We're a funny brand because we hired Nick Kroll, and there's some sort of clout transfer from Nick Kroll to the brand. And
I'm with you so far. Just to be clear, I'm along for the ride, but there's no way this isn't going off a cliff.
Welcome back to Adtopsy. This is episode 10, Rachyl version, in parentheses, like Taylor Swift. And I'm so glad to have you guys back. This is the version where Jess went on vacation, and so I had to throw something together. Welcome to all of our guests, which are actually no guests and all regulars. Dr. Erin Elliott.
Thank you.
Wow. He's actually the only doctor this week.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to change my Twitter handle to Dr. Erin Elliott so you can find me there.
That'll boost your engagement. Yep.
Yeah, Erin, you actually rounded up to about 1 follower this week, right?
Wow. Yep. It was my first tweet ever. 1 follower. I feel good.
I can't follow you because you're blocked. So.
Did you block me?
I just, full transparency, I am her 1 follower. That's not a joke. I became her lone follower minutes before we recorded this.
Mere minutes. We've got Jess Bachman in the house, and we have Barry Hott. Barry, who is also Gary. Gary.
Oh, boy.
Gare Bear.
All right, and we have a pretty packed show for you guys. We've got an Adtopsy challenge. We've got an Explain That tweet. We've got another sort of Adtopsy under the knife. And then we actually have a little bit of a game show to round out the episode. We are sponsored by the lovely Triple Whale this episode. And I think we can just get right into it.
Let's do it.
Yep. And don't be sure to remember to like and subscribe.
Don't be sure to.
Don't
be sure to.
Don't be sure to not do that, please. Thank you.
Don't subscribe.
It makes us feel good. So appreciate that. And if you have any, and we're always trying to change up the segments. So if you're like, please have Rachyl do all of them from now on, drop that comment in there as well.
I will definitely be doing that after the show.
With your
Rachyl comments herself to request more of herself.
My 1 Twitter follower.
Okay, so this can I preamble this autopsy challenge?
After the theme song.
All right, let's hear it.
Man.
It's time for the Adtopsy challenge. Only true creative doctors will get it right.
Okay, so I've got all the data on these. These are one of our clients. So happy, of course, Barry, please give feedback, but also I can provide the true data behind these in terms of like click-through rate, CPA, ROAS, hold rate, watch time, yada, yada. So.
Okay, I'm not even sure which one performed best, so this will be interesting. Let's get into it.
It's really freaking good.
What's the one thing better than a pumpkin spice latte? A pumpkin caramel tea latte that I made myself. Let me show you. It's called Psycho Candy, and I'm gonna start by putting some in a pot. Pot on the stove. Oh my god, look at how pretty. Doesn't that look just like fall? And then I'm gonna add some hot milk. Now that the heat is on, I'm gonna cover it and let it simmer for 10 minutes and let it infuse. My entire house smells like a fall dream right now. Okay, now that the tea is done infusing, we are gonna put it together. Pour it into a pot with a strainer. Oh my goodness, look how pretty. If you wanna get really fancy, you can take a little bit of heavy cream, get yourself one of these guys, and froth it up. Start with our tea, whipped cream foam on top. If I were you, I'd drink it all year round, so give it a shot. Cheers.
And then then this just goes into
The incoming base unit.
incoming base unit, so
Yeah.
don't even worry about it. Okay, so that's one.
Cool.
And I
Okay.
chose this because it's the same product, so it's kind of a good comparison.
Yeah, I mean,
Pumpkins.
the last Adtopsy challenge, I think there's an asterisk on Aaron's Doctor Hood simply because there's different product, and but
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, I've filed an appeal to the board.
I bet you did, Bear.
It was rejected.
Okay, well,
I bet you did, Bear. I bet you did.
okay, here we go.
Bear's going like this.
This is the reason I'm switching from coffee to tea.
This is so good.
This is all base unit too, right?
Base unit.
Okay. Who is that? Who is that guy?
By the way,
Right.
can you use AI just to edit every video and put any product in his hand?
We'll get there for sure.
Okay.
Um,
Are we not going
Okay.
to watch the rest? We're not watching the rest. That's it.
I mean, I
It's
think
base unit.
it was more base unit. It was the same as this other stuff.
Okay.
So I think it's really about the first part.
Okay, add one. Who votes add one?
Me
No,
and Barry.
you and Barry.
Oh!
Okay.
Yeah. What? Okay.
What?
Okay. And who votes add two?
I'm gonna vote add 2 just to make it interesting.
But you put up one finger
Sorry.
to make it more confusing. Okay.
Okay. Ready for the reveal?
No.
Yes.
These actually performed almost exactly the same.
Ooh,
Yeah.
a
Okay.
twist, a plot twist.
Plot
Okay.
twist.
Okay.
So the one thing that's a little bit tough
Yeah.
is the second ad they both ran during a sale period, but the second ad did seem to pick up more steam and got a tad more spend. So I know that's a thing we always talk about, Barry, is if something gets 10 times more spend, of
Yeah.
course, results are going to change.
Yes.
This was like a situation of like 3K versus 5K. So
Yeah,
not
I
exactly super high spend, but yeah, I mean, in terms of ROAS, it's about the same ROAS.
Okay.
In terms of thumb stop, the latte one was better. In terms of watch time, the latte one was better. In terms of
Yes.
click-through rate, the latte one was better. So,
Right.
but at the end of the day,
Mhm.
conversion about the same on these two.
Yeah. I mean, we can dig into like if we really want to like talk about like what was the attribution window on this, like we
Right,
could talk
that's
about that,
totally
and
true.
that could impact the delivery. Like maybe it had cheaper CPMS, maybe it was delivering to more people that already like in funnel. I don't know, but both are not bad. I easily would have just said one without even watching two, like
Yeah.
basically. But because it was a good there's a lot that ad gets right, the first one. The thing that works well in the second one that is that it's calling if you love PSL. Like, so that
Yes.
is lingo for the right people. And then the other thing that's got going for it is, what is it? Like, it is visually confusing what this product in the middle of the screen is. And literally, I can't not keep watching it because it's as it zooms in,
Right.
that question is not being answered.
Yep.
I'm still
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point, Barry.
I'm still like looking at this like, all right, wait, I should be able to discern what this is, right? Not like
Right.
I feel like asking myself these questions like, all right, wait, what is that? Why can't I figure out what this is? What is this thing? It's zooming in. I should figure this out soon. And it just keeps going and I keep not knowing.
Right.
So that's just my interpretation.
Well-
and I would assume others might feel that way.
That brings up something with this client in particular, where they have a lot of shots where they have this weird stand
Yeah.
in the product shots, and that stand is not part of the product, but it looks like it's undiscernible what's going on there.
Yes.
So on the website, when you already know what it is, I hate having these product shots in there because it's not even included in the thing. But for the ad level, there's an element of intrigue for sure.
I also wanted to talk about seasonality here because, starting mid-August, we start throwing fall stuff in. And because people do like to sort of see different seasons in their account. That's probably what they're seeing organically. They're starting to probably see some pumpkin spice stuff. People are probably seeing, just and they're feeling it. They're bored of the season. So I think that's an interesting thing as well. Like that's really why we made the first ad was let's hop on this trend. Let's dress her in a way that people have seen before. The blanket scarf Christian girl autumn thing is a total meme, and the PSL sort of basic bitch thing is a meme. And so it's all kind of playing into that.
Yeah. I mean, do you think the CPMs are lower for seasonality reasons?
Well, it's interesting. These have I don't like to use this on Facebook because I kind of it's like some amorphous. I don't really know what the metric is, but in the ad quality section, these are ranked high. I don't, the ad quality thing is weird. They're but if that means anything to anyone, there are it seems like they are connecting with the audience.
Interesting. So one thing is, the second one is very much non-native, and so, but at the same time, maybe it does have a good hook or uses that language. One thing I'm curious about is the hold rate, because there's something about a slow zoom which feels like it just locks you. It's just like this weird psychic lock where I can't. I need to figure out what's going on. I just can't.
What's going on?
Move away. Whereas, quick cuts do allow the viewer to they have an excuse to go somewhere else,
Yeah, Barry knows what we're talking about. Yes, it helps. I didn't pull hold rate, but I have.
What's happening? Oh God, oh God, this is not part of the plan. Oh no, it's broken.
You're combusting. No, that's what you deserve.
Oh my God,
Barry snorted a rail.
I'm
before.
genuinely not doing this. Oh no. Oh no, it's broken. Hold on. That hurt.
Wow.
Okay.
Barry's being
Sorry about
electrocuted for a second.
That was exciting.
Barry's just trying to get into the episode intro. The episode.
That's my game every week. Yeah.
Number 1 had a watch time of 8 seconds. Number 2, 4 seconds. That's not the best metric, but it's something.
Sorry, give me those again. 8 seconds?
8 seconds, yeah.
This first one?
Yep.
That's pretty big.
Well, it's
this
length
client
of time.
Average play time.
Yeah, I understand.
But this client is older ladies who do tend to watch. A lot of our stuff is in the 7 to 12 second range. But it's just, I think it's the nature of that audience.
I was thinking that the reason why you watch the first one more is because it's a recipe. So I'm curious to see if I ever want to make it. I'm like, oh, I want to see what she's doing.
Yeah, but you get bored. I got bored halfway through that.
I got bored as well.
So if we were to redo it, I think I would add, I don't know.
Can we play this this first one again for the first 15 seconds? There's something I wanted to see.
It's really freaking good.
Really freaking good.
What's the one thing better than
have
a
you
pumpkin
started with
spice
this?
latte?
Have you started with that as the hook? What's
No.
What's better than a pumpkin spice latte?
Yeah, because it's the same language.
Might be a better hook, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
We should do that. That's easy to do.
This is the kind of stuff I do when I'm so this is a funny thing. I'm technically by trade, people call me a media buyer, but I do so much more than that. When I see an ad like this, I'm just going to slice it in Ads Manager. I'm just going to slice that right there as another variable. After I see how this is doing, I'll be like, okay, I think I can get this to perform better. Cut and just make a new ad. And that's what I would do there. And I would actually try and see if there's another moment in this because you have 90 seconds, 99 seconds. Yeah. There might be other moments like that you could just cut to just
this
to get
one,
another learning from.
The tea in the pot is it's just a typical what is that
type
thing. What are you making? you know.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
almost
it's
educational,
true.
informative. Yeah.
And if the context was like, you know, making maybe like, you know, this is how I make tea, or this is the best thing I've made this season or something, you do need to figure out what is this.
Right. I mean, I don't want it.
Not me, but someone.
Yeah.
Okay, nice job. I guess Dr. No One.
Maybe we could,
No one.
well, maybe we could restore all of our doctorships.
Oh, I like that. So Dr. Everyone.
Yep.
Nice.
Except for
That
Ike,
seems like-
because he wasn't here. but yeah.
Okay.
My mom will be so proud. I'm going to call her right after we're done filming.
Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Patient. This is another sort of review, but this is kind of similar to how we sort of recapped on celebrity ads gone wrong. We talked a little bit about a Kim Kardashian ad a few weeks ago, and Scarlett Johansson. This is something I've seen in my feed a lot over on TikTok. And Barry, you saw these as well. Where did you see them?
I found them while doing recon for like apparel brands.
Okay.
So I found it in the ad library. I hadn't seen these live myself, but I wish I had. And I'm thrilled. It's so wild that you've been seeing these like out in the wild.
Oh, yeah.
And I shared this. Like that's so funny.
Well, a lot of money is put behind them, I'm sure.
A lot of money.
Yeah, I bet on it. This
All
is.
right, so-
I have a lot to say about this.
Roll it, Jess. You might have to turn your sound way up because these are weird screen recordings.
I'm messing
Okay.
with Notion right now, which is not good. Sorry.
Yes. Okay, stop it. Stop it. Okay, here we go.
Welcome back, everyone, and let's find
Very
our
quiet.
fit. Those hips are moving naturally. Must be the pants. Find the fit. Trust the stretch. Who wears the pants? You wear the pants. Only 3 more hours and then a break.
Okay, and one more.
Want to get into these pants? I know you do.
That's right. These are my real pants. The whole pair.
I know. I'll tell you my fit if you tell me yours.
Those are fun.
Yep, brings back memories because we used to make ads like that at our last agency, and now we don't.
I just don't get it. I don't get what it's doing.
It's got to be alluding to a bigger like campaign, right? Like these have to be like clips from the TV ad
That's right.
or from some other. There, like I didn't look into it more because I didn't want to. Like
Yeah.
I don't care if there is a longer form YouTube or something on their website. I don't know. I don't care because they gave me nothing. They gave me no reason to click to learn more. It's like if it is referencing it like that, maybe this is to support that, right? Like that's I've seen that as a strategy. We've all seen that as a strategy before. It's like, oh, we just have more impressions of this same concept out there in the world so more people see it. But there's no call to action. There's no way I'd know that. If it was, I'd be pumped. I'd love if this was a teaser for more content featuring Nick Kroll. I would be, and it said at the end, like, oh, see more, here. I'd be pretty excited. And this would be, I wouldn't even have brought this up. I would have been like, oh, this is a good idea. But it just says Bonobos, famous for fit. Like,
What would it need though, Barry? It would need to be like introducing Nick Kroll for Bonobos with XYZ. What would
if
you
it would
want?
have to be a longer form
Yeah.
bit, like that. I want to know what this exercise thing is because it's a clip from it.
Okay.
Is there an actual 2-minute or 10-minute thing that he's doing? I would watch that.
That's the thing. I could not find that in the ad library. I was looking.
No, it's
I
not
was
in the ad
looking
library,
the
for
long
sure.
one. Because
Right.
I'm like, of course, there's a long one somewhere. Plus, this is definitely shot horizontally. They just cut it. But I
Right.
couldn't find it. And it's just like, why is it? Like,
Yeah.
I could understand. We used to do a lot of this similar thing where we would run the first spot and then we would do retargeting with these little
Yeah.
things. That's-
Right. Which is maybe that's what's going on.
ad-
Maybe that's
but
what's
I
going
couldn't
on.
find it.
We don't. It might have already ran, and then they might have been doing
Yeah.
this. Doing the retargeting bit now. Like they're doing sequencing. They're doing maybe they're doing sequencing. Whereas like week 1 we were on this ad, week 2 we run this ad, week 3 what like that's another dumb way people do this stuff. But like you actually, these are both 14-second spots.
Yep.
I was actually hoping you would highlight the 6 second. There was a 6 second of these,
bumper.
and those. What are those doing? Nothing.
Well, so
They're
so-
they're the YouTube version because you can run a 6 second on YouTube.
But they're on Facebook.
I know.
I'm going to disagree with you a bit, Barry.
Go, please.
Okay, so I think first of all, who hasn't heard of Bonobos? I think Bonobos is like everywhere. They're a huge brand. They spend a lot of money. They've probably saturated the people that resonate with their specific value props or USPs. And at some point, I think there's two things. One is like they have to, if most people have heard of Bonobos, they have to reintroduce that brand to those people who in a different way. And maybe they're like, we're a funny brand because we hired Nick Kroll and there's some sort of, clout transfer from Nick Kroll to the brand. And
I'm with you so far. Just to be clear, I'm along for the ride, but there's no way this isn't going off a cliff.
So I think there's that. And I think at some point they do just have to, there's going to be more customers of the Bonobos brand than the specific Bonobos product. And if they can elevate that brand, I mean, maybe this isn't the great job of it, but I think that all this has to do is just to deliver some warm funnies to people, and that might trigger their journey to have a positive association with Bonobos down the road or something.
I'm not getting warm funnies though, I'm not getting.
There's no good punch. There's no good jokes here. Like it's like bit clips of something funny that's not actually. I actually get a small laugh in this one. I'll give them that. I'll get a small laugh right there.
That one I like.
But
I disagree with you, just that they've maxed everybody knows Bonobos. If you think about Facebook in like middle America, some like 45-year-old guy, I don't know that he knows Bonobos.
Or cares. But yeah.
It'd be the buying pool, the buyers, what Facebook identified as
pool,
buyers,
maybe.
wherever they are. They need something else to explore the brand.
Okay, but like you can still do that better.
And you can do it with Nick Kroll. I think
Nick Kroll
fine.
better.
He's fine.
Nick Kroll
He's
is
good, maybe.
great, but
Yeah.
this is not. This 14-second clip is nothing. It's nothing. But like, were you trying to defend the 6 second bump clip? Like, why would a 6 second spot work on Facebook at all anywhere?
Oh no.
Because I think at a certain level, so one thing that people don't talk about, particularly in D2C, is that frequency matters, particularly for larger brands. And at some point, if you can't just show someone an ad or two ads and be like, okay, well, if they didn't see that ad, they'll never be a customer. You do have to get in their face, particularly with products where it's not a split decision. You'll buy it right away. And, not everyone's going to be in the market for pants just now. But sometimes if you bump up the frequency, which you can do in YouTube ads as bumpers at cheaper CPMs, you can get people when they're more likely to purchase pants.
What does that have to do with 6 second clips?
But that's not how Facebook works, Jess.
Right.
Okay.
These-
Well,
That
I mean,
ad is 6 seconds, so it's like
vertical.
who's gonna watch it? They're just gonna scroll right by it, and who's gonna interact with it, and then it's gonna get deprioritized. Maybe YouTube, where you can figure out the placement, but
yeah, and also like if we had a chance to like show that 6 second clip, it's not good, it's not useful, it's not informative, and it's either going to loop in feed and be a terrible experience, or it's going to be in stories or reels, and people will skip right by it because it's completely not valuable. It's not adding value. We just watched and analyzed a 99-second video. Like, you can have higher frequency on the 99-second video. You can have high frequency on the 6 second video. I'm not buying it. Like,
on Facebook, I wasn't sure if these were on Facebook or not. I'm saying on YouTube, when you do have a bumper placement that can be cheaper, it can be worth doing that.
Don't disagree. Don't disagree. It's just different. But like, it just seems like
what people are used to seeing on YouTube. You are used to that environment and that
Correct.
placement, and maybe even that type of content. this famously does not fit in the ugly ads category. I don't know that everything has to, but this one certainly doesn't.
No, yeah, never would I say every ad has to be ugly. Never, like I'm never about that, right? Like, but I would say, what would the ugly version of this be? I would love to see Nick Kroll either, being just talking about and doing silly shit, not in a stupid studio. Like,
Barry, I get that and I agree, but the agency needs to charge $250,000 for that, and they can't deliver the ugly version of that and also get paid.
I completely agree with and love what you just said, and to my core, I don't know if I've ever been angrier on this show than like, because that is the thing that just drives me absolutely insane about the industry is that.
Yep.
Like, I've had to deal with that firsthand. Multiple times where I've had to be like, we have a celebrity we can use. Great. Can we get him to selfie? And they'll be like, yeah, absolutely. And then they go to do it and like, oh no, we didn't have time. Or they're like, oh no, we didn't have the rights. Like we're not allowed to use that. Like, and I was like, that's all we needed. All we needed was that a 30-second of this guy enjoying the product authentically, organically, loving it, and just being themselves because they're great. And we don't get that. You can't have it. And we're paying, and I'm like, we're paying $500,000 or $5 million for this campaign, for this shoot, and we can't get that. We can't get that shot.
Or you can get it and you can run it for 6 months, and then they say they don't want the rights anymore, which has happened to us as well. And then you have to turn it off, and that's
a fun one too. Yeah, that's always a fun one too.
So what is especially irritating about, working with celebrities is fine, and you get like John Cena or stuff in there, and you just sort of insert them where you need them. But when you're working with people who are really talented and funny and who are good writers, so it's equally frustrating when the ad spot is not funny. And I know exactly what happens here, where they pitched, the agency pitched a bunch of ads that are like this with a few different celebrities that they could possibly get. And then they got Nick Kroll, and he was not involved in doing any of the writing, and they just sort of inserted him in here, and it's just a waste of Nick Kroll entirely.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here, and assuming that what we're just seeing is clipped down garbage and there is a better product somewhere else. Like, I'm hoping there's a 30 or 60-second spot that exists somewhere from this campaign where I can enjoy something and find it funny. That is my hope, but that doesn't excuse these turds that exist and are being run. Right?
Yep.
I agree.
And this feels like a writer writing Nick Kroll for Nick Kroll. This one in particular.
I actually want to bring that back to like sort of the D2C space, because I think we see something similar with influencers where, you get an influencer and like you give them, or the brand wants to give them this like really detailed script and this perfect thing. And you have to say the words like this, and you have to use the product name like this. And it's very TM, where it's like, no. Let them do what they're good at. Let them do it themselves. Don't write it for them. You're using them for their influence. Why would you try to like create it for them?
Yeah, some of them don't. Yeah, you're right. I mean, like, it's a good call. Yeah,
the outtakes would probably slay here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would they slay, Jess?
Hey.
They would. They're busting. Pretty sure.
Oh my God. Okay, and with that, let's move on. Our wonderful sponsor this week, of course, is Triple Whale. I wanted to show this. I see this in my dashboard for all the clients, where in the Triple Whale dashboard, it kind of shows you what your optimization level is, because they've got 80 million different features. But one thing I noticed, which I'm super excited about, is the post-purchase survey in here that it says that we have not completed is actually free with the triple pixel. I think this is a new development, and it is huge, because a lot of other brands are using, some other app or something, and those are awesome. But the great thing about the Triple Whale one is that it actually is embedded in your ad results, and so you can actually see like a ROAS calculation based on that information, and it is so interesting and helpful.
That was so cool that they added that, and such a layup. It was so smart, really smart.
and I'm glad they had it for free because they get people in the whole plan is to get people into the ecosystem and then upsell from there. And that can feel very nickel and dimey, particularly if you don't like get the chance to use something or the product's not fully completed. Like there's better standalone competitors than this, but I'm glad they added it for free just to give people, brands, the opportunity to get into the post-purchase survey game, which everyone should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Looks like we have to add some stuff. We have to add shipping.
You got to join
I think
Narwhal
you
Nation.
And I have to join the Narwhal Nation.
Well, yeah, definitely got to do that.
All right.
You should talk about that more. Jess, aren't you like big in that Slack?
I kind of have a name for myself in the Narwhal Nation.
That's you should mention that on this broadcast. Like that's another benefit. Like talk about that Slack as a part of the benefit of being a triple L.
We're going to write that in next week, Barry.
Okay.
No, Jess, you should mention it. You provide a lot of value there. Side note, I hate that phrase. Provide value. Are we like robots?
Value excretion commence.
Please stop saying excretion.
Value excretion is great.
Yeah, we'll talk about the value of the Narwhal Nation next week.
Next time, join us next time to talk about the value of Narwhal Nation.
All right, Explain That Tweet is a segment that I think you guys did before.
Hold on.
Oh
my God.
It's time to explain the tweet on Adtopsy. It's just like Twitter, but face to face.
Love it.
That one might be the best one yet.
It's hard to pick. They're like children. It's hard to pick your favorite.
Okay, it's hard to pick your favorite.
Yeah, that guy needs a raise. So someone, Inspire_agency, thought we should talk about this, which is very flattering that people are interested in what we have to say. So this Nicole Crowell, creative strategist, is asking, which is easier? Should you train your media buyer to have a creative eye or train your creator how to read data and buy media? P.S. A creative strategist must do both.
This is great.
This is interesting.
Really great.
Yeah. I had actually had a real challenge thinking about what this was because I wasn't allowing myself to I feel like I had to pick one because I think it's easy to be like, oh, they need to do both or whatever. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
This is a tough one. Rachel, what do you think as a media buyer? And Barry, you do media buying too.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of think, Jess, what's the who is the woman where everything is everything?
The Lauryn Hill rule.
Yeah, the Lauryn Hill rule. That's kind of, I feel that applies here. I just
say who's the woman and you referenced Lauryn Hill because she's like 12.
Lauryn Hill from the Fugees.
No one, no one my age knows who that is.
What is happening? How old am I?
Barry, you're familiar with Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
I
you.
was more of a Wyclef Jean fan, but okay.
Yeah, he's a little older than me.
Okay, well, anyway, what I mean to say is I don't really think this is like a Venn diagram of, I don't know. I mean, from a media buying perspective, wouldn't you want to be able to translate those words into creative insights? And then from a creative perspective, wouldn't you want to know how your work is doing and how to improve it? I think
I have an interesting perspective as a production person. I think it's the first one. I think you should train your media buyer to have a creative eye. And the reason why I say that is that I feel like it's more value. Like if you're trained as a media buyer, then you're reading the data really well. Like you've been trained to read the data. Whereas if you have a creator who can sort of read the data, it's like, they're both good, but I would say I would want somebody who really knows the data and then who can lend creative insight to somebody who can execute that.
Barry?
Yeah. I love this topic dearly because I think that either way you go about it you're going to fail 50% of the time. Actually, I'd argue maybe more. I think you're going to fail more going from creative to media buyer than media buyer to creative. But I've worked with plenty of people who can't and don't want to do both things. And it's problematic. And I find that there's kind of a very small number of people that are good at this. Very small number of people that can do both.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Barry.
Yeah, it's a compliment to all of us, and mostly to myself. But to understand all the technical things, like both data wise, but also functionality wise, is so important to me. Like I find a lot of the value that I add and understand, and like why I have so much good experience with this is like I've like flipped all these switches and tried like different little things that I can change about the ad settings and understand that like I can look at these different placements. Whereas a lot of people that come from the creative side, they're not able to really think about and look at the data that closely. They're not getting all the breakdowns. Probably they're not looking at how the creative looks in every placement, right? When we're using automatic placements. So that's the stuff I really deeply play with. But I'm a weirdo. Like I have a very creative side and a very like mathy, businessy side. So this is like, but yeah, I forget where I was, but I was saying like I've had media buyers that have excelled in this, that have worked for me and worked with me, and they're able to pick it up quickly. And I've had others that have struggled, and I really haven't seen it the other way. I haven't seen. I don't know. I know a few editor type people that are able to get it and find the patterns in stuff well. And what I've also kind of seen is like neither of these matter. The other thing I'll add is like just a good, really good like creator, like a TikTok creator, kind of cuts through all of this by being able to make stuff that people want to watch, and B, just throwing a bunch of shit at the wall like that. They brute force.
I think
performance,
creative content, stuff that a creator makes, and like an editing for ads is different. I know that stuff creators can make good stuff that works, but I would not want.
I'm not saying it's universal. I'm not saying every TikToker can do it, right? Like, definitely not saying that. But I am seeing there are people that are really. They are first and foremost creators, and they are making stuff that fundamentally works for ads by just getting a small feedback loop. So I think there's like a whole third category here that we're not really talking about.
Really important
performance
because
creator.
I feel like in the past at our past agency, there was no feedback loop between the media buying and the creator, and there's like a certain amount of like ego in this conversation and being precious about the ads where. When you're a media buyer, I just assume nothing's going to work, and I'm pleasantly surprised when it does. So
that's that's such a funny attitude. Whereas like brand people are like, it all works, right? Like it all works. We just need more impressions.
I'll take the other side of this. And I do recognize, not to be like ridiculously egocentric here, but to pile on with you said, Barry, like initially, we can be like, oh, just do both. And I think it's hard to understand, because I come from both a creative and a data background, and we just do both and get better at both. Some people cannot do that. They cannot do that. So
most.
So if I had to choose one of these people, I'd probably choose a creative and then send them through like Foxwell's courses or whatever to get to that level. The problem with choosing a media buyer and getting them to be creative, like I think you could develop a creative eye of what works and develop best practices or whatever. But I think being creative, like wholly creating new angles and new pitches that aren't copying the 3 reasons why, whatever. I think you can copy your way to a mid-level of success, but I think if I had to have someone run my brand, and if we're saying that creative is the biggest lever, I want to have the biggest brain and the biggest talent on that, and then have them pull the smaller media buying levers.
I think that can be trained. I think through what I've experienced in my like a small career is that I certainly didn't start as someone who is creatively minded. I think I had to do a lot of training to get there and have my brain in that space. And I also wouldn't consider myself a creative either yet. Like I am not an excellent video editor and I am not like a Photoshopper, but I do feel like there's a certain eye I have trained myself. And I think it can be taught in some ways.
Trained and taught how?
What do you mean?
How would you do that? If you had to hire one of these people, how would you train them in the creative side?
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just an experience thing.
The infrastructure exists to train media buyers.
That's fair. Okay.
It's an interesting angle.
Yeah, but it doesn't make people good at it.
Sure.
You really can train people, but not everyone's still going to be
That's
good at
true
it.
too, because if you think about how just a lot of people are, is that, you know, a lot of people want to media buy, are interested in the data, and then those other people are not always creative people. Like, I mean, there's definitely intersection there, but like, I don't know that every video editor I know has this dying want to like read data, you know, sometimes. Yeah. So
they don't. A lot of them don't. And a lot of them like that I work with, sorry to interrupt, like a lot of them that I work with don't even want to be involved in the production part either. They just want to sit down and edit and be told exactly what to do. And they don't want a lot of freedom even. Like some of them do, but a lot of them might not. They want to know how to edit this, what the pacing should be, what the tone should be, what the whatever. They want that direction. And what I a lot of times would rather someone who can be like adding their little input, you know, like, but some people don't want to do that. They just, you know.
I wish Ike was on this call right now because he is this. He's like our unicorn. Like, I feel like we're very lucky on Fire Team to have kind of both of these things. And I feel like Rachyl is a media buyer who is also creative, and Jess has the same two minds. He's creative and data driven. I actually think that's what makes Fire Team so unique. Like, because we came from agency life, like it just feels so different. To have, and you do the same thing, Barry. It's like that creative and data driven. I haven't seen that very often.
Yeah. I mean, the people that I like gravitate towards in the industry are people that can to talk about.
I feel like the whole want, like the creative wanting to, you know, add their flourishes and to know what works. That's where I feel like there's a disconnect. And I wonder if that could be fostered more, where like, we make time and space at Fire Team to like show Ike the data, and I break down all of the metrics, and we talk together about, okay, why does this have a much higher hold rate than this one? Why is this the thumb stop so better? And we break that down. And I'm just wondering if that's not happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's not.
I don't think it is. I think everybody's siloed in their own, like, stay in your lane.
I think I would not discount people who.
I don't want more meetings. I don't want more Slack
channels. You can discount people who don't want to look at that, but you also have to make that fun and interesting, and you have to make it like an exploration. And then people, once they catch the bug, the performance bug, like if you can give your video editor a performance bug, and you know, if they're the right person who wants to seek out that information, they will from there.
I love that. That is such a good point, Jess, because I'm sure when I send Ike over my fucking spreadsheet of data, he's like, oh my God, what the heck is this? And that's not what's helpful. What's helpful is when we talk about it and we do stuff like Adtopsy, and when it is fun. You're so right.
Yeah,
that is true. And you guys include me, and I'm like production. It's like, I think it's so helpful for everyone on the team, whoever's on your team, to know what's going on in all aspects of it to make it really work. Like, I need to know for production wise too, like, so I can say, okay, I need this kind of a person, or we need this type of a vibe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do think it all trickles down to every single member of your team.
Well, I'd love to add, like, culturally or organizational culture wise, you know, this is a big part of that. First of all, you got to be hiring for people with like really good critical thinking skills, right? On either end of it, the best media buyers and the best, you know, kind of creative people, creator, whatever, are going to, like, that you need that. Like that's, I don't know if that's trained or if that's, you know, whatever, but that is one thing. And the other is like having a culture that allows and encourages failure and doesn't kind of shame that. Like most people, there's a book that I love, An Everyone Culture, Becoming a Deliberately Developmental Organization. And it talks about how like pretty much everyone's like main job or second job is just managing how they look to everyone else so that they like keep their job or don't get fired or aren't embarrassed and whatever. So most people natively just are doing everything they can to not look bad, not admit failure. And a lot of those agencies are built around that. A lot of those businesses, those big brands that's the incentive. That's the goal. They're not incentivized to make great ads. They're incentivized to make the stuff that makes other people happy. Fundamentally, I make and do things that make people very unhappy, like not consumers, right? I'm trying to make stuff that consumers want to watch, but it makes agency and ad and marketing people very unhappy. And they're like, who's this ding dong? But it makes performance people happy. And it makes things work. And but most people do not want to encounter that friction or try and fail.
Yeah.
So that's the bigger thing I think you're up against, both like internal corporate culture or organizational culture, and then also like the broader landscape.
Yeah, I think that's spot on.
That's why I like this question, because it's about training. Because if you're going out there looking to hire someone who's good at both, you're not going to find them. You're not going to find someone who's good at both. There's like a handful of people.
You will. You're just going to have to pay crazy money
because they've already been
right. Like, and they're extraordinarily
and most of them are on this
demand.
call right now. So
We also I also think it comes down to the person. I think you can train I think if you find the right kind of person who's hungry to learn, who wants to be there, who cares about your your agency or what you're doing or how you're doing it, those people will figure it out. And I think we've learned that at Fireteam for sure. Like that it really is the people.
By the way, this is a great chat. This is a great topic. I love talking to you all about this. I want to add that I actually think this is about pairs. This is about pairing people together, teams of people, right? Like you want to have a creative and a media buyer. I think Dara either talked about this on either with us or on her own YouTube about like pairing the like media buyers with a creative type where they can kind of supplement and complement each other properly. Because sometimes you'll have the creator that can get more of the media buying side and the media buyer who really isn't interested and doesn't get the creative side, and then same vice versa. So finding that pairing, I think is ideal.
Yeah, and it's worth emphasizing pairing means two people, because the dark side of this particular tweet is absolutely, if like creative is big and a big part of performance, there's going to be job postings for media buyers on Indeed, and they're just going to lump in all this like creative work that they now have to do or is now part of the description, and it's just gonna they're just gonna assume that people are going to apply with those skills, and it's going to be a failure.
Yeah,
I liked this. This was fun.
Nicely done. All right. I don't know how we are for time, so we could skip patient 36.
Yeah. We're at 2:10, so yeah, we might need to. But that was a good, valuable conversation, I feel like.
We'll bring it back next week, maybe, because this Coastless conversation is a conversation I want to have, but we'll talk about it next week.
Ooh.
Okay, great.
Good teaser.
Make sure to subscribe and notifications so you don't miss it.
Okay, bonus show and comment.
And comment.
Bonus game show. Gary.
Oh my God, it's starting.
In my brain.
It be.
You know, there's no the Gary that I knew. He kind of looked like you.
Jerry. I'm Jerry. Jerry Gergich.
Do you want to explain this, Barry?
Sure. Thought of this one. I was having to do something recently where I needed to like come up. I was like talking about all these different brands, and I was like, what are all their websites? And I realized so many of them it's really hard to know what the domain is for a lot of startups because they weren't able to get the actual just name.com. So I wanted us to play a game where we
It's
guess
kind of hard.
the
When I
actual
was looking for
domain.
mine, I was like, you think it's going to be one thing, but then it's like some random other,
Can we start with
Yeah. And it doesn't matter. The lesson is, by the way, it doesn't matter because you just Google it. So it doesn't matter.
I think we should start with, I literally asked these guys this question this morning. I'm like, why don't we just use ours? Ours is fireteam.is. What the fuck is that?
Oh, spoiler. That was the first one.
Sorry, I didn't see that on the.
Now
Okay.
everyone understands how the game is played.
Yes.
No, I have one. I have
Am
one.
I leading
Mine's
this
actually
game, or
okay.
did
So mine's
you-
actually Pencil.
Oh, okay.
So Pencil, who's been our sponsor in the past.
Oh my God.
Who is a great tool for people
Yes.
where it comes up with sort of AI options for ads. There's also sort of a managed version. It's great for people who want to quickly ideate. What would you think Pencil's domain is?
I know this one, so I can't say it, but I also can tell you I've tried entering it into my
I'm going to say the same thing.
Chrome bar.
I know
song
because we all are thinking the
50
same
times.
thing, but okay, Jess, what do you think?
I constantly, to get to Pencil, I go to pencil.ai, and it's not it.
I've
That's
done
what-
that like 15 times.
Nope.
We all
Yep.
think it's that.
I've done that. I've also done pencilapp.com, which is not it
It's
either.
It is
I don't know why that one
trypencil.com.
comes up.
Trypencil.com?
Indeed, it
Trypencil.
is.
So they got a .com.
Yes.
They
But
need
it's-
more funding, like Triple Whale, to buy their actual
Trypencil.com.
domain. Okay, so I got a good one.
That's a good one.
Okay, so guess the domain name. This is an app it's a browser extension that you can use to save ads in the ads library.
Oh my God.
What would be a good domain for that?
Okay.
Well, wait, what's the
No,
not
you're
tell us
going to have to
business
guess the
name?
business name.
Well, that's
That wasn't-
okay. Well, I don't think that was the game, but okay, we can do that.
I know what it is too.
I know what it is.
Oh, I don't know what it is. I'm supposed to guess now?
It could be-
Yeah, actually have Aaron guess.
Okay, guess.
Give
What
an
can you-
earnest guess, Aaron, of something you would use to save ads.
Saveads.com.
I love it. I would use that.
I'd use that too because you know what? It says what it is.
has that
It's really
domain?
clear, and there's actually no sexual innuendo in that.
I'm sorry. Oh, is this foreplay.com?
.co. It's foreplay.co.
.co.
Oh, even better. .co. Okay,
You
cool.
can actually
By the way, saveads.com is only $10,895.
Do
Let's
it.
buy
You can actually get to foreplay.co by going to menageatrois.pizza.
I think it should be. I was going to say foreplay.com, but that's rude.
It's tough. We actually experienced this the other day. We sent a potential lead a foreplay board, and Nikki, I know, and Nikki had to say, I'm sending you a link. I'm sending you a link
Safe for
to
work.
Addison, which is now named Foreplay. She had to sort of do a contextual thing in the email to a potential lead, which was something I guess we have to do. It's a great tool. That name I do struggle with though.
Here is this
Yeah.
totally SFW link that I'm sending you.
Yeah,
Preface
it's like,
that.
so you guys were talking about it in Slack,
Um,
and I'm like, what are you talking about right
Yep.
now? I'm like, what is this? And then I thought it was like some funny joke they were saying. I don't.
Yep.
Nope.
Okay.
All right, I've got one.
So
if you're
ready.
ready for it, okay. The company is a stroller
Of a baby.
company, baby strollers. Okay. The company is called Mockingbird. What is their domain? Take a guess. Everyone has to take a guess because none of you know this.
They make strollers.
They make strollers.
Mockingbaby.co.
Baby bird worm. Dot.
If-
Go.
Kill a mockingbird.
I'll give you this. The word
Try
mockingbird is
Mockingbird.
in it.
Roll
Mocking
mocking.
dot
Okay.
bird.
Right. The question, like Jess is onto it. Like, is it try Mockingbird?
Stroll
That's what you're
push
saying?
mockingbird.com.
Babies love Mockingbird. That pizza.
Mine was
Rachel, did you guess?
I don't know.
My baby is a
wormbird. Wormbird.com.
It's hellomockingbird.com.
That's tough.
That's
interesting. I'm not sure I'd go with that.
Yeah, that's
Let's hear it.
I have another one for you. These are former clients. That's why I'm thinking of these. The furniture rental company Feather.
Rent Feather.
What is their domain name?
Oh.
Feather. Rent Feather? Feather. Furniture.
You thinking in SEO?
Feather.furniture.
Light as a feather.
Okay, here it is. Here, ready? Featherhome.com.
Ooh.
Ooh. And
light as a feather.com.
Okay. So fun fact, I just Googled it, or just went to it. Rachyl actually got it right, but that is not their actual domain, but it forwards to it. So that's pretty good. But it is Live Feather or Live Feather.
So Live is interesting because it's rental. Live is a little too permanent.
.com.
Maybe
that's what they want to make you feel. But yeah, but it's funny. Rentfeather.com worked. So nice. That was a fun. That was like best case scenario for this game. You technically win.